Welcome everyone to this special video podcast episode of Bran'sTech. We're glad to have you here. So in today's episode, we are highlighting one of the many guests who have come here on the podcast and spoken with us. We're highlighting their story and catching up with them and truly seeing how they've been doing. But without further ado, this episode will begin in just one moment after these sponsored messages, so please stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Brandon K. Hedgepeth, and welcome to my very first episode of my catch-up series right here on Bran'sTech. I'm excited to have you all. So in this series, I am speaking with some of my former podcast guests, and getting to interact with them again, see how everything's been going, and just truly have fun with it. And so today, I'm very happy to start off with my inaugural episode, so please allow me a moment to reintroduce my guest for today. He is a junior at Virginia Tech, and he has an interest in self-directed learning, and in fact, he was one of my former Bran'sTech discussions co-host back in 2021. Please re-welcome Kyle Robinson. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here. I'm glad you invited me back.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to have you back. Can you believe it's been like a whole 6 months since we last spoke?
Right, yeah. Time definitely flies.
Yeah, it really does. But how have you been?
I've been alright. I've been good. Being back home does have its own perks, and it does have its cons too. I mean, I've been helping out cleaning after my brothers with my mom around the house. My mom's actually been in school too, and thankfully for her, she's actually she finished her last class and she's on to being a graduate, which is, I think it's really great. I know that one day when I get up to that, I know that one day I'm gonna get there too. But you know, it's definitely been a journey for her. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, please tell me. Yeah. Well, please tell her congratulations from me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that truly does take a lot of hard work and dedication, and so yeah, please, give her my congratulations.
Of course.
And so has she officially had the ceremony yet, or is that coming soon?
She mainly did online classes, but she's going to be getting her diploma sent to her in about 2 weeks or so. And so she's going to get a gown and everything with it so that we can take pictures.
Well, that's awesome. We'll definitely make the most, of that moment. I mean, that truly is something special.
Of course, yeah.
And were you saying something earlier too? I think I cut you off at some point.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, it's really great being back in my own home, and this left me a lot of time to not only just reflect on the past semester, what I could do better, what I can improve on, and what I can honestly just do better going forward. It's left me some time to pick up some stuff that I haven't really done much of during the school year. Studying music theory, watching videos, having more experience with working with digital audio software and whatnot. Haven't done as much learning as I had last summer, but just good knowledge, and I'm just going at my own pace, honestly. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really good to hear, and and I'm really glad that you're still continuously progressing with everything that you're doing, and I mean, it truly amazes me how much you do, and how much really into learning that you are. I mean, even for me as a research enthusiast, I'm still in awe still of how much you're truly have been able to do, and how much stuff that you love learning. So I'm glad to hear that that you're still going at it, and this time with with your music theory stuff. I mean, I always wish you the best, but even still, I mean, like I said, what you're doing is just extraordinary.
Yeah, thank you. It takes, I will say, it definitely takes a lot of patience when you can't figure something out, or something doesn't work the way you want it to, or if you're filming a video and let's say you're not using the exact version they are of the software, can get kind of annoying. But in cases like those, it's good to just refer to that. Like, learning takes a lot of mistakes, and like, honestly, the most successful people in my life that I know have made many mistakes in their learning journeys. And if I ever want to be like them, I got to take those mistakes and, learn from them basically, and try not to let those hardships get the best of me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, that you're still like very motivated and you're, and still willing to continue going even when there are, hardships and sometimes difficult moments. Because I know sometimes, especially when they pile up, especially from personal note, I mean, it just feels like it's just easier to just, give up or give it to someone else. It's their issue now. But the fact
Right.
that, just willing to just keep going, I mean, that's just really remarkable. And I'm just so glad that, like I said, I mean, that you just have that mindset. And, it's a really great one to have, too.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I think that I think it's honestly pretty good that I've learned that mindset, because I'm starting to see um, similar like behaviors in my brother. He had a lot of like, you know, trouble wanting to actually learn things, and then here I came back from school. He's already learning C sharp. He's learning a new programming language, and I'm honestly pretty proud of him for it.
Wow, that is impressive. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, so really that, the determination to learn really runs in your family then.
I guess it does. Mm.
Well, yeah, what else have you been doing over this past year? Even, since January, since January was really the last time that we really, like, January 2021, rather, is the last time, at least, like, on the recording that we truly, I mean, spoke all about, like, our passions and interests. And so, how's everything been for you? I know one of the last times we spoke too, we were mentioning how I think you used to be, was it on campus as a student, and then you were at home, and then you were living off campus, but with on campus classes. And so, how has all of that been for you? And which one, I guess, has been your favorite since you've practically done all three at this point?
Hmm. Well, I would say probably it's living off campus, but um, still going to in-person university. And here's why I think that being close to campus is really nice, because it's, one, forces you to get out the house. And I really don't like staying inside all day. It's just not a me thing to do. I like going for walks occasionally. So having that excuse to get outside the house, and when I'm out there, it's going to be easier to stay out there. And on top of that, um, just being off campus feels like you have more freedom than being on campus, especially if you have like a vehicle, like a car or something like that. I didn't have my own car. My roommate drove me, my other roommate places, like the store. But I will be driving back to campus this time, and hopefully, that's gonna be just better for me, since I can choose when to go to the store or pick up any supplies I need. Um, I will say one thing that I don't like about it as much is the bus system. The bus system is usually it's very diligent on its timing, which I do appreciate. It runs to stops about roughly every 15-30 minutes, depending on your bus. Um, and it's usually pretty reliable. It just gets annoying sometimes how full the buses can be when going to classes in the mornings or the closer to noon. But aside from that, that's really the only issue I have. It's really not that big of a deal either. Overall, it's pretty nice, because being off campus means that you're closer to other resources that are also off campus that you can't really access, or it wouldn't be easily accessible. So I probably out of the three, I like staying off campus, but also going to in-person classes. I also feel that the in-person classes are more interactive. I really like having a teacher in front of me and learning. So that means I pay more attention to the instructor and what I'm supposed to be learning. When I'm at home, it's very easy to get distracted, and there are a lot of things that can cause a commotion. Like I live with two brothers that it can sometimes cause a lot of noise. So it honestly depends on the environment, but for me personally, I like the in-person classes.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And even for me, like as a fully online student for a good majority of my my whole college career, I can even relate to some of that, because it truly is so easy to get distracted. And when you're at home, you have a homework work set, but when you're at school, I'm there for the education, and that's what I'm going to get done. And you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Being online did have also its perks too. I liked how easy it is just to get to class. Sometimes it could be a hassle getting out of bed so early in the morning, because last semester I had an 8 a.m. and I'm not going to be doing that this time. So yeah, if I had an 8 a.m. and if it was online, it'd be so much easier just to get on for class and then get off and then just go right back to sleep or something like that. But honestly, it's honestly just up to personal preference what you would like to do. As an online student who's majority of the time online, is it easy for you to engage with the lesson or whatever the instructor's teaching?
I would say it all depends on the class, but the way I've sort of worked everything out is that I try my best to constantly communicate with my professors and reach out to them and get involved with things, even though, obviously it's not like I can just, go over to the professor's office hours and, knock on the door or anything. But although sometimes I have shown up on campus and I've done that, and everyone's really shocked. They're like, "Oh, you're here! You're physically here. What are you doing here?" But yeah, I still try to do my best to engage as much as possible without burning myself out. And so I like being able to have those little built-in breaks and everything. But you really have to schedule your time for yourself, because if you don't, it's so easy to get burnt out, because it feels like you're constantly working on things. And so it's one of the things I've been working on, which especially going into the upcoming fall 2022 semester, is just starting from week one, just planning in, okay, the assignment's due on Friday, I'm going to work on it on Monday and get it done by Wednesday. So that way, you don't have to deal with Thursday and Friday trying to hustle and deal with everything just for something to come up, or
Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, and so one of the things I did want to to mention too, while we're here speaking, is so now that you're going into your junior year, which I believe you start classes for your junior year just in a few weeks, actually.
Mm-hmm. I am actually taking summer classes for preparing for the fall semester. And it will be a fully online class. This class is said to be usually pretty easy. I don't know if you're taking this class called, what is it? I believe it's linear algebra. And I've heard that it was not a hard class, but that was from people who were taking computer science. For everyone else, it was kind of, So I'm hoping that this class won't put too much strain, because I'll also be working at the same time.
But, and so, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I was just gonna say, yeah, I have a lot of people who tell me like, oh yeah, this class is amazing, or you should take this one. This one's easy, but it's coming from the people who, in my opinion, are like yeah, the most intelligent people in the room, and
Right.
so sometimes it's like oh okay, like I'm not quite at that skill set yet, but thank you for thinking that I am. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And honestly, it's honestly pretty funny because it's like one of those scenarios where you're like taking a test and like you get out of it and it's really hard. And then you talk to your neighbor and it's like, that wasn't so bad. It's like, what? Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. And so I guess while we're going to begin wrapping, wrapping up this this catch up interview, and of course just with all of mine, of course we're going to continue speaking after recording too.
Of
But
course.
I know I mean I guess what else has really been up with you, and I guess anything that you might want to inform the people watching. I'm not
Hmm.
used to saying watching.
Well, I do. The only other thing I can really think of is, um, honestly, I've been kind of not feeling the best, and this feeling has kind of like subsided for the most part, and it was mainly because of the stress that was placed upon me for final exams. So I was really nervous when hearing about my results for my tests, and that had a huge toll on me for the first few weeks of summer break. And if I could honestly just say anything, like, don't let school completely define who you are. You're more than just your grades, and don't stress yourself out when it comes to things like that. Like, it's really not it's really not worth stressing over, is what I'm saying. And I wish I could have told myself this earlier. And it took me a lot of convincing from a few of my other friends to tell me that, like, it's things are going to work out. And they actually did. I was surprised to see I got an A in one of the classes that I thought I would not do well in. So I'm glad, honestly, about my results, but regardless of your results, you'll be able to definitely do better next time and always work on improving and figuring out what you do wrong or what is keeping you from becoming better is also very important to realize.
Yeah, I mean that is quite true, and I'll use my own personal experience with that too. And so for me, I've always I guess I'm really prone to overthinking, and so for me, like especially like exam time, it's like I'm constantly like refreshing the screen, trying to figure out like what did I get, like did I do well? I did horrible. I completely failed this. I mean, even if I had the most preparation and it was the easy assignment, all the questions are like 1+1. I'd still be like, oh my gosh, I put five. I put five. That wasn't 1+1. That was two. And I mean, constantly stressing over that, and even with like all the amounts of preparation. And so one of the things I've started trying to do is just relax a little more and taking more time for myself to just like not constantly be checking my my smartphone over here and trying to you know like
Yeah.
get into it. And it's easier said than done because I mean I can say that but then up here next semester in December, I mean still constantly scrolling through my grades trying to I mean figure out everything. And it's it's not an easy thing, but I mean it's such an important subject though to speak about. I mean
Mhm.
even as a content creator, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with everything. So it's always nice to have a good support system and people
It's
to
true.
to chat with, even if you just need need a gentle distraction sometimes, or something else to do to keep you occupied.
Hmm. I would definitely agree with that. It's good to have people you can definitely lean on to talk to about these types of things, because recognize them and instead of just keep them bottled up inside of you. It's good to recognize these feelings and definitely like see what you can do about your situation.
Yeah, that is quite true. And so I guess the last thing I'll mention for this interview, unless you have anything else, is that, as I'm sure everyone knows here, is that at the end of 2021, you were one of my two discussions co-host for the series, like as I was going into the last several episodes. And so how was that experience for you? Yeah, I mean, coming in and continuing the legacy of the discussions episodes for like five out of the, I think it was a good, five episodes that you co-hosted. I mean, how was that experience coming in and doing that?
Well, overall, I enjoyed the experience. It's like talking about stuff that I'm comfortable talking about. I'm talking about things that apply to my life and that I feel like I'd be able to elaborate and bring value to people who are listening. So that's honestly pretty much how I felt about those other podcasts, and I'm looking forward to be on more and just hopefully when someone hears what I'm talking about, they either can relate to it or they can gain something from it. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, of course, you are always, welcome here on any of my platforms. I mean, like I said, you were just such a great friend, a great guest, and all of the above. I mean, being able to speak with you and catch up with you, I mean, it's just been an honor. And so thank you so much for all your dedication and support. And for, like I said, I mean, even coming back as a recurring guest back in 2021, I mean, the pleasure was all mine for having you on. I'm just glad that you were interested and wanted to be a part of it.
Of course, I'm always glad to be here and share my thoughts.
Well, that is great to hear. And so, if there's any way that anyone online would like to continue hearing your story, is there anywhere that you want people to potentially like follow you online or anything? If not, that's quite all right as well. I at least did want to provide that opportunity for you.
Sure. You could follow me on Instagram. My @ is superduperkyle _. And yeah, it's pretty much where you can reach me if you want.
Well, awesome. Well, Kyle, I am just so glad I had a chance to speak with you today. And I mean, for sure, keep in touch. And like I said, if you ever want to come back on or just chat, just shoot me a message. I'm always more than happy to have you on. And yeah, of course, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you watching, thank you all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you all later. This is Brandon signing off. Take care, everyone, and I'll see y'all next time.